Hello beloved souls, thank you for tuning into the Spiritual Podcasts channel. This channel is all about good vibes, positive energy, and meaningful conversations. To keep this space welcoming for everyone, we kindly ask that comments stay respectful, kind, and in the spirit of the content shared here. We reserve the right to delete any comments that don't align with this intention. No hard feelings, just protecting the vibe. Thanks for being here and spreading the light. Please be cautious of anyone claiming to represent Spiritual Podcast and asking you for money, donations, or personal information. We will never ask you for money through comments, messages, or DMs. All official updates and content come only from this channel. If you see suspicious activity, please report it immediately. Stay safe and thank you for being part of our community. If you enjoy the video and its content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Please be kind to other viewers of the channel. The video is about to start.
Okay, so have you ever felt like there's this vast, untapped power just kind of simmering beneath the surface? You know, like something really magnificent has been held back and it's just yearning to break free. Well, today we're diving deep, really deep, into some fascinating ideas. Humanity's divine heritage, a huge spiritual awakening, and what one source calls a colossal event on the horizon. And we're looking at this through a pretty unique cosmic lens. Our main source here is this captivating message apparently from Mira of the Pleiadian High Council. It came through the SOU LUZ DIVINA YouTube channel. And it's specifically talking to people referred to as Starseeds and Lightworkers, terms used in these communities for souls, believed to have come here from elsewhere to help Earth during its transformation. So our mission really is to unpack these pretty profound messages, see what they might mean for us personally and collectively, and figure out what it actually means to release the Kraken inside.
It's definitely an interesting perspective they're offering, almost like a cosmic invitation, isn't it? To remember some truth about ourselves that, for many, seems to have been hidden or obscured. This message, it really sets the stage for a very specific way of understanding human potential and planetary evolution. So our goal in this deep dive is really to explore the different layers of this material, see what resonates, what stands out for you listening. Because, the language is deeply spiritual. It draws from a kind of esoteric framework, but it does offer a structured way to think about self-empowerment in these, seemingly dramatic changes happening on Earth. We're kind of aiming for those aha moments, where these big grand narratives might connect with your own experiences or feelings.
Okay, so the message kicks off with Mira from this Pleiadian High Council, immediately sending out love and light across the cosmos. And she speaks directly to Starseeds and Lightworkers. Right away, she says, "You've traveled far and wide through dimensions and lives to be here now." Wow, that's quite a statement to start with, isn't it? It really suggests this huge, maybe even pre-planned journey that leads right to this specific moment in time. It implies there's this recognition, like we see you, aimed at a specific group of people who are seen as having this unique brilliance and courage, chosen apparently to be here during what Mira calls these times of transformation. The whole feel of the message is encouragement, empowerment, like a gentle guide saying, remember your divine heritage. Mira even says the Pleiadians are at your side in spirit, celebrating your progress and your unwavering determination. So it really sets this tone of deep support, acknowledging what you, the listener, might be going through on a very, very deep soul level.
And then, boom, right away, that central theme, release the Kraken. It definitely grabs your attention. Obviously, it's not, a literal sea monster swimming around. The source is very clear. It defines it as the liberation of your inner divine essence. That magnificent light, it says, that has been contained for so long by the illusions of the three-dimensional world. Which, immediately makes you think, okay, what are these chains of limitation? What are these illusions the message claims are holding us back? And why would something so fundamental, our own divine essence, need to be released from inside us? It's quite a concept. The Pleiadian message presents it as a really strong call to action. Break these final chains of limitation and step fully into your sovereign truth. And there's a promise attached. You're ready to fly beyond the reach of the Cabal and any forces that sought to keep you small or fearful. Now, the Cabal, just to be clear, in these kinds of spiritual messages, usually refers to this idea of a secret group pulling strings, trying to control things and suppress human consciousness. That's the context here. So this isn't just about, personal self-help. It's framed as a sacred activation and a celebration of your journey of return to the fullness of your light. It sounds like a really deep, almost alchemical kind of transformation, where this hidden, huge inner power is finally supposed to emerge.
Right, and the story, the narrative, it goes even deeper. Mira says that we chose this. We chose to come down to Earth, described as a realm of illusion and control, but for a divine purpose. As these courageous starseeds and lightworkers, we apparently volunteered to come to Earth, knowing fully the challenges. The source paints this really vivid picture. Earth under a dense veil, a kind of matrix of limitation set up by forces trying to suppress the light. So it wasn't some cosmic accident or mistake. According to Mira, it was a grand experiment. I mean, just imagine that. Agreeing on a soul level to take on something so immense, knowing you'd actually forget who you really were for a while. Also, you could awaken from within the illusion and shine as a beacon for others. What does that actually imply for all the things we've experienced? Maybe feeling like you don't belong, or that deep existential angst some people feel, or just the struggles we all face. This way of looking at it suggests, well, maybe they were all part of this deliberate process, maybe even like a curriculum designed for our soul's growth.
Exactly. It's more than just a comforting idea. It's a really profound reframing of our personal histories, isn't it? And that concept of the veil of forgetfulness is absolutely central here. It suggests our whole experience of being human, with all the trials and tribulations, involved putting up with the conditioning and programming of a society that often denied the very truth your soul silently remembered. So that feeling of not quite fitting in, maybe, the source suggests it's not a defect. It's presented more like a subtle echo, a whisper from a different origin, a memory of home beyond Earth that your soul still holds onto somewhere deep down. The source is also quite reassuring, saying that even when we doubted, our higher self never actually lost sight of our true identity. It talks about getting glimpses, perhaps in dreams, intuitive feelings, or moments of déjà vu, describing those as the soul's voice, kind of instigating you to remember. And what's really fascinating is how it reframes challenges. Every challenge you face became a catalyst for growth, shaping you into a wise and compassionate being. The difficulties, it says, tempered your spirit, awakening latent strengths and divine qualities. So, from this viewpoint, nothing was really random. Even feeling lost was part of some greater plan to sculpt us into the beings we're meant to become. And now, apparently, the fog is dissipating. Many are supposedly feeling this profound acceleration of remembrance, starting to see themselves as a cosmic being, a multidimensional soul. The old illusions of control are losing their power, preparing us for a grand role in this planetary ascension. It really shifts the whole story from just suffering through life to this idea of purposeful evolution, doesn't it? Giving meaning to every hurdle we've jumped over. And this understanding of our past, this reframing, leads directly into thinking about, well, what is human potential at its core? The source goes into this idea of the original design of humanity. It states that millions of years ago in your linear time, the human genome was supposedly crafted with immense love and intention. Humanity, it claims, was thought up as a grand experiment by the divine creator and many benevolent star nations. The original design. Nothing less than magnificent. The vision was for humanity to be a living library of cosmic wisdom. And our DNA, it says, was coded for 12 strands of brilliance and multidimensional consciousness. Now, that's a concept you hear in a lot of esoteric circles, this idea of more than just the 2 physical strands of DNA we know about biologically. It suggests this vastly expanded energetic and informational capacity. Thinking of humanity as a living library, a bridge between physical and spiritual. It points to this incredible innate capability, far beyond how we usually see ourselves. So what does this 12 strands of DNA idea imply about where we are now, with our understanding of just 2 strands? It implies a huge dormant potential, doesn't it? That humans were originally designed to be like a race of ascended masters in physical form, capable of radiating a frequency of love and wisdom so pure that it could help restore balance in the universe. It's a really breathtaking vision of what human purpose could be.
It really is. And it's not just about us as individuals, is it? It paints this picture where every single human soul was designed to be a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, between Earth and the stars. So it's not just some local earthbound job. It's a cosmic role connecting us into this much larger universal picture. The source even says we carry the mark of many star lineages, Pleiadian, Sirian, Andromedan, and others, and that each of these contributed their finest qualities to this grand, masterful plan, which implies this really profound genetic and energetic inheritance from all these different star nations. The hope, the purpose, was that through human experience, souls would grow to embody heightened consciousness even in a material body, bringing light into the densest realms. As ascended beings, humanity was meant to be like guardians of harmony, balancing energies throughout creation simply by radiating divine love. I mean, think about that for a second. Just your presence, your very being contributing to universal balance. And Mira says that echoes of this ancient truth are awakening in your blood and bones. So it's not just some old story or a philosophy. It's presented as something being rediscovered, reactivated inside us, right now, like on a cellular energetic level. The message is incredibly empowering. Know that there is nothing ordinary about you or your kind. Each is a vital part of a profound universal design, carrying the seeds of mastery within. It totally reframes what it means to be human, suggesting we're way more magnificent than we've been led to believe. Okay, so we have this incredible, almost unbelievable blueprint for humanity, designed to be ascended masters, a living library, and then interference. It really does sound like cosmic sabotage, doesn't it? The source acknowledges straight up that not all beings in the universe honored this sacred plan. It specifically points to the Orion group and other self-serving entities as these negative factions. They apparently saw humanity's amazing potential and basically wanted to appropriate it for themselves. The Orion group, just for context, often comes up in these esoteric traditions as forces focused on control, power, exploitation, that kind of thing. And the source describes this interference like a magnificent orchestra had been forced to play out of tune. So what kind of interference were we actually talking about here? How did this cosmic sabotage, this deliberate throwing things off key, show up on Earth and within us?
Yeah, this is where the story gets quite stark. It offers a really challenging explanation for a lot of humanity's long-term struggles. The message talks about astute manipulations by these, well, dark actors, as the source calls them, claiming they actually adulterated human DNA and consciousness. And this wasn't just a small adjustment. It supposedly involved introducing limiting genetic codes and deliberately creating that veil of amnesia we talked about, specifically to prevent humanity from accessing its full power. The idea being that our original 12-strand DNA potential was intentionally suppressed, leaving us running on low power mode, basically handicapped compared to our original design. And over thousands of years, these forces supposedly infiltrated human societies, establishing systems of control based on fear, separation, and misinformation. Just think about how deep things like fear of scarcity, fear of each other, fear of the unknown run in our collective consciousness. This perspective suggests maybe those aren't just natural human flaws, but were strategically put in place as programs to keep us disempowered. The source points to the predominance of war, greed, and oppression throughout history as evidence of this. The goal, it says, was very clear: to prevent humans from remembering their divine heritage and ascending to their true potential. And the result, according to Mira, a long period of dissonance on the Earth stage where the light of human consciousness had dimmed considerably, leaving many souls feeling trapped, cut off from the joy and wisdom that are their birthright. It's a really profound claim, suggesting our collective struggles, that feeling of disconnection, might actually stem from some orchestrated external influence, not just inherent human failings. If you connect that to the bigger picture, it implies this long cosmic battle over human consciousness itself, with Earth right in the middle of it. But importantly, despite all this interference, the source strongly emphasizes that the original divine spark in humanity was never lost. It was only temporarily obscured, just waiting quietly for the right moment to flare up again. The stage was just being set for a big comeback, even while the shadows tried to keep their illusion going.
So, okay, after this incredible story, divine design, then cosmic interference, the message brings this really deep reassurance, and is presented not just as wishful thinking, but like a universal law. Light always wins in the end. Mira states very clearly that the designs of darkness were always destined for failure. It argues that light, being the fundamental reality, inevitably dissolves all illusions of darkness, which means despite everything, that core essence of the Creator, that inextinguishable spark in every soul, cannot be extinguished or appropriated, only temporarily obscured. That's a really powerful message of hope, right? Suggesting even the deepest shadows can only hide the true light, never put it out. The universe itself is described as always seeking balance and evolution, so stagnation and darkness was never a permanent option. The higher realms, Mira says, knew the time for this revival would come, and apparently that time is unfolding now. It's the dawn of the Great Reversal, where what was suppressed is now ready to come back out. So what does this Great Reversal actually look like on Earth? How do we see these big cosmic laws playing out in our actual tangible reality?
Well, it's compelling to think about our own role, our personal agency, amidst these huge cosmic forces. The source gives us some tangible signs of the shifting tide, saying that what was corrupted is being restored to its divine plan. It claims our solar system is moving into higher frequency areas, bathing Earth in illuminating energies that dark beings cannot withstand. So this isn't just presented as a spiritual thing, but a cosmic shift with potentially physical effects. Like, our whole neighborhood in the galaxy is getting a massive energy boost. We're told to observe evidence of the weakening of their control. Things like long-held secrets coming to light, oppressive systems crumbling, and more individuals asserting their sovereignty. I mean, think about the push for transparency we see everywhere. The questioning of old authorities, the growing demand for truth. Is that part of this? This ascension impulse, the source says, is growing every day across the planet. More souls awakening from their slumber, questioning the narrative they've been fed. And this is presented as a direct challenge to what it calls the Cabal's matrix, saying that what was once an iron fist is now full of cracks and fissures, allowing the light to pour through. No. The ultimate victory, it declares, is that the divine consciousness within humanity is triumphant, as it was always destined to be. And the absolute key to this liberation is within each human heart. So if this matrix is cracking, if the light's pouring in, what does that mean for you personally in your daily life? The source suggests that every heart that awakens, the control matrix loses its grip, which implies that our individual awakening isn't just personal, it's the actual mechanism driving this huge global shift. Your own journey of remembering and stepping into your power is directly linked to this massive cosmic change. Makes you an active participant, not just someone watching it happen.
Okay, so if the matrix is cracking and this big reversal is happening, the key to unlocking all this immense personal power isn't out there somewhere. It's right here, inside us, in our heart. The source describes the heart chakra as a sacred portal within each of you. It calls it an emerald flame of love and divine connection, just waiting silently in the center of your being. It's painted as this kind of hidden access point to the source, something that's always been there, even through the toughest times. And the message even details how it gets activated. When your 7 chakras are purified, aligned, and activated, the heart chakra blossoms as a lotus of pure light. This isn't just poetry, it's presented as a literal energetic reality, suggesting a real tangible shift in our energy body. The feeling might start as just a warm sensation of love or a deep peace radiating from your chest, but it can expand into this constant awareness of your oneness with the divine. And through this portal, Mira says, you get direct access to the guidance, strength, and unconditional love of the source. No need for outside intermediaries, it affirms. The sacred connection is your birthright. So what does that really mean for us, practically? To become a living channel of the Creator's light. How might that actually feel or show up day to day?
That phrase, living channel, sounds incredibly potent, almost abstract maybe. But the source really emphasizes that this secret point of contact was protected within you, untouchable by any external influence. And it suggests the whole reason the so-called Cabal kept humanity distracted from it is because it represents your ultimate freedom. The implication there is huge. Real liberation isn't handed to us from outside. It's something we find and switch on internally. Once your heart chakra is fully illuminated and aligned with your entire being, you become that living channel of the Creator's light on Earth. To someone listening, what does that actually feel like or look like in daily life? It's probably less about, suddenly levitating objects and more about a really profound shift in your inner world. It's often described as things like heightened intuition, a much deeper sense of empathy, a bigger capacity for unconditional love maybe, and real clarity when making decisions. Imagine just feeling consistently connected to this inner wellspring of peace and wisdom that guides everything you do. At that point, the message says, you'll feel the truth of who you are, a beloved aspect of the Creator, and nothing will make you forget it again. So it's not just about feeling good temporarily. It's about embodying a whole new reality, becoming a conduit for divine energy, and permanently reclaiming that lost identity and sense of purpose.
And as that divine spark in your heart really ignites, that's what unleashes the huge inner splendor Mira talked about earlier. Let's really get into this release the Kraken idea now. It's described as the magnificent and unpained splendor of your soul that has been chained too long. The phrase itself, it's dramatic, but it's used with loving intent, apparently, to symbolize this colossal spiritual power deep inside you. Try to picture it. A great luminous force, ancient, wise, and potent, coiled like a powerful energy in your core. This core essence, your inner splendor, got trapped, it says, under layers of fear, doubt, and false programming. Partly due to the Cabal's influence and partly just from harsh Earth experiences. We were, as the source puts it, taught to be small, to question your worth, to fear your own light, basically trained to disown how magnificent we really are. So the emergence of this inner Kraken means fully embracing your authentic self, embracing all your gifts, your love, your wisdom without reservation. And the experience of releasing it, described as waves of profound clarity, passion, and creativity, like finally breathing after centuries submerged. Wow. It's gentle in love, but immense in its impact. Your soul is just ready to expand into its full majesty. It's a powerful reclaiming of what was ours all along.
And this is where that Kraken symbolism really hits home. It's not just about feeling powerful, it's presented as a fundamental vibrational shift. The source says that when you release this splendor, you ascend vibrationally like an eagle catching an updraft. And this makes you invisible to the old, heavy energies of fear and manipulation. The analogy I think of is like trying to tune into an old AM radio station when you're broadcasting on a high-frequency FM signal. The old static, the interference, it just can't reach you anymore because you're operating on a totally different wavelength. It's a complete shift in your energetic signature. It explains that the tools of control that once imprisoned you, fear, disinformation, division, lose all power when you are fully in your light. Now, that doesn't mean those energies just vanish from the world entirely, but they lose their hook into you. They can't influence your inner state or define your reality anymore. And this isn't passive. It's presented as an act of spiritual sovereignty. You're not out there fighting the cabal on their terms. You're basically transcending their entire reality tunnel by operating at a frequency they literally cannot access or even comprehend.
And that transcendence, that's how you fly beyond the reach of the cabal. It means lifting your vibration so high that the low vibrations of the cabal simply cannot reach you. From that higher viewpoint, from high above the illusion, you can clearly see the path ahead for yourself and for humanity. It's described as this deeply profound act of spiritual sovereignty. Not a violent fight, but a peaceful internal revolution that then creates external ripples. And the impact is collective. As each person does this, the cabal's influence diminishes exponentially. This moment, the source actually reveals, was apparently feared by them, but it says destiny is on the side of light. The message assures us that with our brilliance unleashed, you are co-creating a world where no shadow can prevail, ascending beyond the reach of old oppression and into the freedom of the new earth. It's a really fascinating vision, isn't it? How individual inner work is seen as directly translating into global systemic change. Okay, so this awakening isn't just happening inside us. The whole cosmos, it seems, is involved.
A lot of us have probably heard whispers about a future solar explosion or great illumination event, maybe online or in spiritual circles. Well, Mira, in this message, confirms this is a real and significant happening on the horizon. Our sun, she explains, isn't just a ball of gas. It's a living being and divine energy portal, and it's getting ready to release a tremendous wave of light. I mean, the idea our sun is a conscious being, sending out a light wave to activate dormant DNA, definitely sounds like something out of science fiction, doesn't it? But here, in this message, it's presented as very real, something actually coming. It's a truly grand vision. It's not just any burst of light. It's called a celestial trigger, a high-frequency photonic light wave carrying codes of awakening and transformation. And when this wave hits, dormant aspects of your DNA are meant to activate, and apparently, many slumbering souls will experience an instant expansion of consciousness. It's described as part of the Creator's plan to ensure no soul is left behind in the opportunity to ascend. So what does it mean that our souls have supposedly been preparing for this for many lifetimes? How do you even prepare for something that huge?
It suggests a really deep, maybe pre-incarnation agreement and definitely energetic preparation happening on a soul level over a long, long time. The source seems to imply that through countless lifetimes, our souls have been gathering experiences, gaining wisdom, clearing out old karmic stuff, all building towards this exact pivotal moment. This preparation probably isn't conscious in our day-to-day lives or even linear. It's more like an energetic readiness. Like tuning an instrument over millennia so it can perfectly receive a very specific, very powerful signal when it arrives, and the message is clear. This event is pure love, and its purpose is not to harm, but to illuminate. For people already doing their inner work, already awakening, it might feel like a wave of ecstasy, a huge confirmation and speed up of their journey. For others, it could be more like a sudden call to consciousness, something that just breaks through the old illusions and brings an instant, undeniable shift in how they see everything. The message also reassures listeners that galactics and members of the Alliance of Light are carefully monitoring and aiding this process, making sure it unfolds with grace. So, no reason to fear this solar explosion, and there's a fascinating analogy used. It's called a macrocosmic reflection of what is happening within you. Just as you're releasing the Kraken of your inner light, the sun will release its own surge of divine radiation, both working together to accelerate the ascension journey for everyone. That connection between the micro us and the macro, the sun and cosmos, really highlights this idea of profound interconnectedness, like a universal symphony playing out to help this great awakening happen.
And it's not just cosmic forces getting involved. There's apparently significant support right here on Earth too. The message confirms that change is also happening on the terrestrial plane.
It talks about brave souls among you in positions of influence and leadership who have aligned with the light, end quote. Many people call these figures white hats. They're supposedly working silently to dismantle control within your human systems. This includes people in governments, the military, science, other powerful institutions. They're described as being part of an Earth Alliance, which is guided by higher divine forces and galactic support. Some of them apparently even receive direct guidance and inspiration from benevolent galactics. Mira reveals that, behind the scenes, these white hats are busy annulling dark agendas, recovering stolen resources, and bringing justice to long-hidden wrongs, end quote. The source actually credits them with helping to prevent certain catastrophic scenarios, and says they're instrumental in organizing a smooth transition into the new era. It's a really compelling narrative, isn't it? Connecting these abstract spiritual ideas to potential concrete actions, even if hidden within our earthly systems.
Yes, and this brings us to a really important point about how these spiritual and cosmic shifts might actually show up in the real world. While a lot of this alleged white hat work remains clandestine, as the source puts it, for strategic reasons, imagine the potential chaos if it all came out at once too soon. The assertion here is that these figures are actively helping to break down oppressive systems. The source even mentions that clues emerge in news and events, hinting that there might be subtle signs of their impact on our daily reality, even if we don't see the whole picture yet. It directly connects the spiritual narrative to current world events, suggesting this coordinated effort happening on multiple levels: spiritual, cosmic, and right here on the ground. It paints this picture where the plans of darkness are being systematically undone, clearing the path for an era of transparency, justice, and unity on Earth. It definitely challenges us to maybe look beyond the surface noise of daily news and consider the possibility of deeper, organized forces working towards a positive global transformation.
And right alongside this breakdown of old control structures comes the promise of disclosure. As the Cabal's control loosens, Mira says, many hidden secrets are about to emerge into the light of collective consciousness. We're told to expect these disclosures to affect all aspects of life. This apparently includes revelations about how humanity was manipulated, secrets about suppressed technologies and knowledge, and even the true history of your planet. The message gets specific. Scientific breakthroughs that have been withheld. Things like alternative energy sources that can free you from fossil fuels, advanced healing modalities, and importantly, the exposure of those who profited from humanity's suffering. It acknowledges this will likely be shocking for those still asleep, but ultimately it's seen as purifying and empowering. And for you, the Lightworkers and Starseeds listening, your role, it says, will be to act as constant beacons that will help others understand and integrate the revelations. And the ultimate disclosure, according to Mira, the recognition that humanity has never been alone in the universe, including evidence of contact with other long-hidden civilizations. That suggests a truly monumental shift in how we understand ourselves and our place in the cosmos, moving from feeling isolated to being part of a much larger intergalactic community. Okay, so we've talked about the cosmic help, the earthly help, and all of this leads to a really deep understanding of what ascension actually means in this context. It's not just, floating off into space somewhere. It's about a fundamental shift in how we perceive and interact with reality right here on Earth. The source defines ascension pretty simply: raising to a higher state of being, moving from the limitations of three-dimensional consciousness into the expanded freedom of the fifth dimension and beyond. Just for clarity, three-dimensional consciousness is often talked about in terms of separation, fear, competition, seeing time as strictly linear, whereas fifth-dimensional consciousness is linked more with unity, unconditional love, cooperation, and a more fluid, interconnected view of reality. This whole process is called the Great Awakening of humanity, like a flowering of spiritual consciousness across the whole planet. And signs that you might be experiencing this ascension, Mira suggests, include things like releasing fear and embodying love, noticing more moments of profound peace, unity with others, and really understanding the interconnectedness of all life. It sounds like a personal revolution first, which then becomes a collective one, as the very fabric of reality is changing for you. What once felt solid and unchangeable reveals itself as fluid and responsive to your vibration. So how does Gaia, the planet Earth itself, fit into this big picture of shifting dimensions?
Right. Gaia, the Earth, is presented as a conscious being, and she is also ascending. She's choosing to move to a higher frequency, and she's basically taking all who are willing to accompany her. This perspective provides a context for the so many changes happening all around social, environmental, and personal. They're explained as part of this huge cleaning and realignment process that's preparing everyone and everything for the shift. Think of Earth as a living entity shedding old layers, recalibrating her own energy field. And the new Earth that's talked about, it's not a distant dream. It is being born through your hearts now. It's envisioned as this realm of higher vibration where compassion, peace, and wisdom guide every action. A future where humanity will live in harmony with itself and with nature, as was originally planned. The Great Awakening is accelerating, the source says, with more souls questioning old beliefs and opening to higher truth. And you, as Lightworkers, are described as being both participants and catalysts in this, because by holding your light, you illuminate the path for others. This part of the deep dive really highlights how our individual destiny and the planet's destiny are completely intertwined. It creates this synergy where our personal transformation directly contributes to global change. It really makes you pause, doesn't it? To think about the immense power that's held within each person's individual journey, not just for themselves, but for the whole planet.
And that leads right into your incredibly profound role as a co-creator in this whole unfolding drama. Mira states it plainly. Everything that is happening is the manifestation of the great divine plan for humanity and for Gaia. So the call to action is to recognize your sovereignty, to reconnect with your highest essence, and to step fully into your role as co-creators of the new reality. This isn't about just sitting back and watching it happen. It's about actively participating. No effort, no interaction is considered small or wasted. Every moment you choose truth, every decision to radiate love, to remain centered in your light, contributes to the collective awakening. The message emphasizes that the physical world and the spiritual world now walk together in a more visible way, which means you're not just an observer anymore. You're actively shaping the reality that's emerging with your consciousness, with your choices. It's a potent reminder that our inner state really does have outer consequences.
Absolutely. This section really drives home the profound personal responsibility, but also the amazing opportunity that each person holds right now. It's not just about waiting for some big external event to save the day. It's about actively building the new reality from the inside out. The source states that, quote, each soul that remembers, each individual who claims their divine power strengthens the web of light that spreads across the planet, helping to dissolve those old energies of fear and oppression. It really highlights this synergistic effect of individual awakening, where the awakening of each human being acts as a wave reverberating beyond borders, cultures, and systems, bringing clarity and compassion to all levels of collective consciousness. You are described quite powerfully as guardians of light, bearers of ancient wisdom, and architects of the new reality. And it's a continuous process. There's no turning back to the old world, only the constant advancement toward the full realization of human potential. The new Earth isn't just some destination we arrive at, it's a living reality born of the courage, compassion, and wisdom of those who chose to wake up. So it's a co-creative process, constantly evolving with every single person who awakens and chooses light. Hashtag outro of note.
Wow. We have really covered some ground in this deep dive today. I mean, from understanding this idea of a magnificent divine origin and the forces that apparently try to suppress it, all the way to the awakening of our inner Kraken, that huge inner power, and the cosmic and earthly support that's supposedly lining up to help build this new Earth. It's a truly vast, intricate picture of remembrance and, well, recreation. So, if the universe really is conspiring for our awakening, as this source suggests, and if we truly are the bridge between heaven and earth, like Mira says, then what does that actually mean for your very next conscious choice, your next act of kindness, your next moment of just being present? How might that simple action ripple outwards, creating effects maybe far beyond what you can even imagine, contributing to this enormous planetary shift?
It's a powerful thought. This deep dive really does reveal this grand tapestry where every single thread, every awakened heart is absolutely essential. It reinforces that message that you are loved, supported, and celebrated by all of creation. Not just by the Pleiadians in this message, but by the very fabric of existence itself. And this isn't a passive right, it's an active co-creation. The new Earth is described, remember, as a living reality born of the courage, compassion, and wisdom of those who chose to wake up. So that really brings up an important question for all of us listening. If this new reality is being actively built right now through individual choices, what specific action, maybe even a small one, will you choose to take today to be part of its manifestation? The message encourages continued trust in the wisdom of your heart, in the strength of your own divine spark, because according to the source, you really are the bearers of the light that is awakening humanity and guiding Earth towards its true essence and freedom.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful and blessed day.